welcome to the newest educational, all of you. Today, I want to touch on a hero that is pretty strong, maybe too good, in Enigma. And I have something prepared here for you where I'm going to show you a few of the starting item builds, a couple of the items overall that are just very good on Enigma, and the flavor item builds, aka the ones that are going to give you the most impact. I'm going to show you when and why you go for the different ones. And then we're going to look at a game, at the laning stage, and then throughout the game, how you progress and how do you understand which items to buy and how do you want to execute team fights. Do you just go and blink black hole any target? Do you blink stun? How do you understand which one to do? So without further ado, let's get right into the starting items here that I've lined up for you. So the starting item build, in my opinion, is usually going to be very similar. Most of the time, you want to start with a Tangle, Sage Mask, Double Branch, Mango. And then if you want to go for an Urn, you go for a Circlet. If not, you can skip it and you go for a faster Ring of Basilius into the lane. Here, in this case, you can turn it, with these starting items, you turn it into the Urn. Or lastly, you can just get stats or a stick if you want neither of these items, and then you can go Arcane Boots. So then starting off, you kind of have different item builds to follow depending on what you started with and what is good in the game. So if you have an Urn, it's highly likely, so either you can keep it at an Urn, or if it's a good Vessel game, you can go Urn, then into Arcane Boots, and then you turn the Arcane Boots plus Urn into an Arcane Boots and Vessel. You know, if they have like a lot of strength heroes that you want to counter with your Vessel, or like maybe they have a lone druid type hero that you want to own with the Vessel, that is one. Then the strongest build right now is the Arcane Boots into Wraith Pact, and that's also the replay that we're going to be watching in a moment, because it's just the best build right now. It is really like too strong at this point in time, and the build-up is great too. So Arcane Boots into Wraith Pact is usually what you want to go for in most of the games. And then in other games, if it's a bad Urn game, it's not a good landscape, and you just want to go like straight up something like this, where you just want to play for Black Hole, then it's going to look like an Arcane Boots, maybe with some random items, Arcane Boots, Windlace, into a Blink Dagger, and yeah, kind of then play around with that. Of course, then you will turn that into a BKB. You can also, if you go this build, you can go a Shard in between. Shard is very good on this hero, especially if you're going to play a lot on you want to play a lot on farming and maybe being just strong with your stun, because it increases the stun duration with the Shard, which is nice, by 0.35 per level, and every stun spawns an Eidolon, which is going to help you to farm as well. So I would suggest you to go for Arcane Boots, Blink, into Shard, into BKB if this is the build you're going for. Then something that's underrated is that you go Ags after, and then you go like Octarine into Refresher. One thing I didn't mention is that in some games you can also split your Arcane Boots into Lens, but this is personal feel and if you want more cast range. But I will just say this Arcane Boots into the Vlads with the build up from the Bassi, it feels very nice. Like from this on out, you build this item build into the Vlads, Arcane Boots, then you upgrade it into the Wraith Pack, and usually after that, you then still want to go for the Blink into the BKB, and eventually you do want to play for the Black Hole no matter what. Similar here, if you go Arcane Boots, Vessel, most of the time you're going to want to follow it up with a Blink, maybe a Shard, then BKB, and most of the time later, you want to end up with the same item builds, which is just going to look something like this. Maybe then sell the Vessel or drop it for the Aghanims, and you're going to be very strong. Now, skill build is most of the time very straightforward. I personally prefer to nearly always skill it the same way, where you go W, Q, W, Q, W, Black Hole, Eidolon, Stun. Sometimes you can take Midnight Pulse on 9, but usually what I like to do is take Malefice again. Then if I'm farming a lot, you go Eidolon attack speed, otherwise you go Midnight Pulse. Then at level 11, you're going to look something like this. So pretty straightforward. I know that some people really like to skill up Midnight Pulse, but I'm personally not the biggest fan. I feel like stun is what you want to go for, because with level 2 stun in the early game, you can easily go stun into Black Hole when you hit level 6 to get yourself kills. And then level 15 talent, I prefer the Malefice instant damage. Level 20, I prefer Eidolon damage once again. So in this game, we're going to have Collapse, who's just one of the best offlaners playing Enigma. I don't know how used he is to this hero, but I'm going to show you what he does, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it. So now that the creep spawn, so you want to be around the creep wave pretty early on. The best thing you can do, in my opinion, is that you let one creep go far, and then you deny as late, you deny like around your tower so that they can't get, so you do what he does, you let one creep go so that they can't pull like more than one creep away. Now that this one is going to take damage early, now what you do, you deny one of your own creeps as late as possible without them getting experience. So I don't always like to deny my range creep. It's a bit of a feeling thing. It doesn't make the biggest difference. But what I like to do is deny late as possible. And now what you want to do is you want to keep your Eidolons as safe as you can so that they don't die to spells. I mean, it's hard in this lane. And then you want your Eidolons to just hit creeps, because when they hit 6 times, they multiply. And when they multiply, that is really your time to shine in the laning stage, where you can then look to play aggressive. So now the reason you want to deny as late as possible is so that you have the Eidolons throughout your first wave and a little bit of the second wave as well, which is what you can see here. Now that they split, you're very strong. You can trade, you can deny creeps. And then once you start hitting like level 2 and 3 with split Eidolons, that's really when you can start looking to play aggressively in the lanes and apply a lot of pressure. This is a lane where he could have definitely gone for an Urn. I wouldn't mind going Urn. You could even go Urn into Vlad's, but he decides to go for something different. I think that he just feels like he wants more regen and he wants the Buckler because that's the only way they can ever kill the Eidolons. So once again, you deny creeps, you make your Eidolons spam hit so that they split, spam hit so that they can split as fast as possible. And then once you have split Eidolons, that's when you want to play aggressive. You tell your teammate, yo, I want to go on them, we can kill them. Like here, for instance, they go aggressively on the Nyx, but they get a double stun. You keep hitting, now you pop the Malefice, and bam, you get a kill. Like, he basically is a walking 170 auto attack damage at all times, because that's how strong Eidolons are. Now, when your Eidolons are down, of course, you're not the strongest hero, so you want to look around with creep aggro, creep manipulation to try and get last hits this way. Now he's close to level 3, so he doesn't want to use the Eidolons yet. It's going to hit down a couple creeps. Oftentimes, it's also okay for you to give up one of the range creeps in order to hold lane control, especially when you don't have Eidolons. And now, so usually you want to either send out instant your Urn to then get an Urn charge, or your components for the Vlads, that's what he does here. Bassi into Buckler, and once again, it is just the strongest build on his hero. Now you keep spawning Eidolons, you get yourselves the split ones with the stun, and Disruptor is just gonna fall. A lot of heroes have a hard time laning against Enigma. With the most recent nerf to the hero where the Eidolons don't have the most magic resistance, there's a couple heroes that aren't as bad now, such as like Crystal Maiden. The Nova deals like half damage level 1, so some heroes can lane easier, but even then, I still think that this is just one of the best heroes in the offlane right now. You can always slow down the enemy carry with the denies, you can play aggressive, you can pressure the tower, you have a lot of different item builds, which is usually a big sign of strength on the offlane heroes. So again, you deny creeps, let your Eidolons auto attack so they can split as fast as possible, and once they're close to splitting or have split already, you deny or last hit every creep you can, and if they give you possibilities to hit them, like here, then you can go for it. Split, hit them, Ricky lost half his HP, feels good. So now you chill a bit, the guy pulled for you, you have good lane control. Okay, now, you get close to level 6. Usually when you get to level 6, you might have mana issues unless you have Arcane Boots. Unless you have Arcane Boots or Stick. So if you get close to 6 and you don't have Arcane Boots, you want to either make sure that you have a Clarity coming beforehand, Stick Charges, or Mangoes. Or like 1 or 2 mangoes, because you really want to be able to have Black Hole mana when you hit 6, because it's a lot of damage. This spell deals 400 pure damage. So usually when you do have Eidolons around with Black Hole, you can kill any hero if they won't cancel your Black Hole, right? Especially because if you want to use all your spells, it costs a lot of mana. Like basically these two spells together are 280 and Black Hole is 300, so that's 580 mana. And that's just more than you have currently available to you with the hero. And with level 2 stun, it's very easy to run in, stun, and pop the Black Hole before they get out of the stun. That's also why I like the level 2 stun a lot. So now around this timing is most of the time when you're just very strong in the lane. So your objective now is either to hit the black hole into kill, or if they're already too scared, what you want to do is split your Eidolons and kill the tower, which is exactly what he does here. He pulled the wave away with one Eidolon. Now, I mean, as you can see, this is a very easy game so far for him, right? So we're going to speed it up a little bit. Because now after you take the tower, what you want to do, you play very aggressively in the enemy jungle. You keep farming it, you just try to dodge any smoke ganks that you have coming your way. You slowly start making your way aggressively through the jungle while farming everything and being safe. You work your way through the Wraith Pact. And then eventually, what you want to do is either have an easy kill here with your black hole, or you rotate into mid, which is kind of what he's looking to do this game. Tumbler's Toy is also a great item for you. Like now, as you can see, he's kind of behind them. He gets off a good stun into them. Black hole on 2 heroes. Even though it gets cancelled, it lasted long enough for them to get some kills here. And this is just a little bit of a... Like, it's a little bit of a weird game at this point, because he's farming, but he's trying to be involved in these plays. But now I'm going to show you this timing that really changes a lot in the game when you do play this hero, is when you get Wraith Pact, because this item makes you so tanky. Everyone deals less damage from the enemy. They also constantly take the tick damage from your Wraith Pact. So now when you get this, it really turns you more into like a team, like a ball hero. You want to play around with your team with this Wraith Pact and really force fights. Because right now your HP is not 1370, it's more like 1700 HP if he gets to drop it. And the enemies take damage, they're fighting into Eidolons, max stun, and so on. So right now what you want to do is you want to bait the enemies to fight you. And it nearly doesn't even matter in which position. Another trick that you can do when you farm the enemy jungle, which is what he did here, you split your Eidolons and you eventually send them on the enemy mid tower if there aren't really too many plays going on the map. And here you have Tumbler's Toy into stun, into black hole. It even catches the Emperor off guard, as you can see here. The stun is just enough, depending on range, for you to always cast black hole after, especially max stun. Look, Tumbler's Toy, stun, black hole. He even dropped the Wraith Pact before for the bonus damage. So like that's how much time you really have in that moment. And now, as we talked about, you can go for the black hole, the Blink Dagger into the BKB after to then still play for those spells. And now, basically, when your black hole is down, what this build allows you to do, it still allows you to be very aggressive and fight around your team, because you make your team more tanky, you give them more damage, you have the Wraith Pact Totem to deal more damage, make you more tanky, you have the maxed out stun, so you're still very strong. Whereas if you go the Blink Dagger Rush build, you're basically just a Blink Stun and a black hole, which it doesn't feel as good. And when you play this build, it just feels really, really nice, because now you want to play more aggressive in the map, kind of play around that. And your options now, until you have BKB, is kind of you want to Blink Stun an important hero, drop the Midnight Pulse, hit them with your Eidolons, drop the Wraith Pact in the fight, and just be in there and kind of join fights until you get your BKB. Whereas with a lot of the other builds, you were more of a farmy type Enigma. And also this build allows you more to like go for some towers, go for Roshans. So here you have a quick fight. And then if you see a good black hole, of course, you're going to go for it. So you drop the Blink, Midnight Pulse, black hole, try to get... You should practice this combo, because you can use them both pretty much at the same time. So Primal Beast uses his BKB, Skyref dies, but at the end of the day, if we look at this fight, Primal Beast dies as well. And Wraith Pact is still around. Now we're going to cut this out. And then you just slowly start working towards your BKB. And then I can show you how you want to execute fights once you have that. Because until then, you're okay with being like in the fight a lot of the time. As I think there's one more small fight that we can look at here. So now you're a bit patient. Now, since they have BKBs, you don't really want to look too much to like blink stun people. He sees the Primal Beast come in, he just pops his BKB, he gets off his black hole. Like now at this point, you want to play more on your actual ultimate only and not commit too much with like a blink stun, because if you commit with blink stun, it means your blink is then on cooldown, so you can't use your black hole anymore, which really can hurt you a lot. So let's just look at one team fight of how he plays when he has all his items available and when he's kind of the win condition of the game. And that's just the case right now. That's him. Now, what you want to do around like the 15 to 25 minute mark is you, as often as possible, unless you're looking for a fight, you want to spawn Eidolons in a side lane to push them out as much as you can, and then connect with your team and let the Eidolons give you gold in the side lanes and push out waves for you. So now we have this fight in the mid lane. It's a bit weird because it's a very open fight. But again, he waits patiently. He gets off the black hole, blink, midnight pulse, black hole. He does hit both heroes. And this is kind of how you want to play those fights. So even though it doesn't like look incredible, this is how you want to execute the team fights. You want to play on high range to stay away from the enemies so they don't spot you. And then you go in with the blink, midnight pulse, black hole to catch the enemy people. And basically that's how you play. Now, I want to show you one more quick game, how you play a slightly different build. Because there's the, right, you have the Wraith Pack build, you have the Vessel build, and now I want to also quickly show you just the Arcane build, the Arcane Boots build with the Shard, because some games just aren't good Wraith Pack games. Like maybe you have a hard lane, or the game is just the type of like, oh, we can't fight them even if I go Wraith Pact, it feels bad. Or you just feel like, if I just go Arcane Boots, Blink, BKB, then I'm just gonna own the game, okay? So what happens in this game is that once again, we have Mr. Collapse. He's gonna deny a creep very late, as he did in the first game. This time he's gonna go for an Urn. And it's another pretty good lane. It's a Marcy, Faceless Void. Faceless Void is a very bad laner. Basically, the only heroes you don't want to lane against are the ones that can threaten your Eidolons. Enche and Chen, they can take over your Eidolons. Heroes like CM. I laned against CM Troll today. That felt actually a little bit annoying. Gyrocopter, Naga Siren is pretty annoying because you don't deal with the illusions, and so on. So let's skip ahead a little bit early on. Once again, you want to split your Eidolons, you always play for that, and then you go for CS. If they give you opportunities to kill when you have double Eidolons or to harass, you definitely want to take those all the time. But in this game, he's not going for Wraith Pact. He wants to just go for Arcane Boots, into the Blink, and yeah, I just want to... So here, once again, once you get to like this level 5 with split Eidolons, you can look to push the tower with the Siege. When you once again end up getting towards level 6, you want to play for the threat of Black Hole with the like Blink into the stun. Here he goes for a Black Hole. It didn't turn out quite as nice, but they do get a turn kill on the puck. So it's, you know, it's not too bad. Using your Black Hole as early as possible is always good for you. They get the kill on the puck because of the Black Hole, and then with the fight continuing, they also kill the Marcy and the Void. So now even though you died, you just go straight back up here. You take the tower, and here I want to show the Blink into the Shard build, which it's just like the max farm build. Now you can take this tower as safe as possible. You split your Eidolons, you put them on the tower, you get the tower, and now basically same story as before, but now we don't want to play as aggressive in the enemy jungle because we don't have this Wraith Pack, right? We want to rush Blink, we want to play safe because we don't want to die to like some random coil. So once again, all of this area in the top area, all of this is Collapse's area right now. He's Enigma. He has no black hole. All he wants to do is farm as much as he can, take away farm from the Faceless Void by denying, maybe pulling some creeps, and then farming out the enemy jungle. Now, when you buy Blink Dagger like this, it makes it really easy for you to play these very open areas, because if they smoke on you or if you see the puck, you can just blink away. Like, look how safe he's playing. This is the dire vision. They don't know where he actually is. I feel like he could be a little closer to Leech Experience, but that's how safe he's playing to not die. I think here, in the meantime, while doing this, you can like stack this camp or like pull it into the wave. But now he's just farming the lane all the time, farming some camps here, and now he does the good old Blink reveal, and he does the Blink stun into Black Hole. That's just how you go for it. You have Eidolons there, Blink into stun. During the stun, pop your Black Hole, kill him, nice. Now the Faceless Void has died again. He buys back, he's angry, but we're going to keep watching the game because it's just about, we just want to show you how you want to play this Enigma build, okay? So he has Blink, he's rushing BKB, he would buy Shard, of course, if he could, but he can't, it's too early in the game. And as you can see right now, he hasn't left this area because he feels like all he needs to do is get to these items, get kills with Black Hole, make sure that he occupies this entire area on his own, get as fat as possible, and then if that is what they do, he will win later. It's not like some game where he has a Drow Ranger or a Shadow Fiend and he just wants to 5-end with them. No, he feels like he just wants to be fat, keep farming top, have Slark farming bottom, and then play the game like this. Because as you can see now with this build, it's exactly the opposite from earlier. You don't want to run around the map and like push too many towers or whatever. You just farm as much as you can. You rush the Shard for even more stun, solo kill potential, but mainly for the farming speed. Now, slowly but surely, you chip down this tower, maybe you get a glyph out of them, and only if you ever get a very free kill, or like you can turn a fight around with a TP, that's when you TP around. Because as you can see now with this build, it's exactly the opposite from earlier. You don't want to run around the map and like push too many towers or whatever. You just farm as much as you can. You rush the shard for even more stun, solo kill potential, but mainly for the farming speed. Now, slowly but surely, you chip down this tower, maybe you get a glyph out of them, and only if you ever get a very free kill, or like you can turn a fight around with a TP, that's when you TP around. The point of this is now, once you have the shard, you want to be very aggressive in terms of the farming, because you can like stun creeps here or even here and get more eidolons. Like you really become a farming monster. Yeah, so like we can look here again. This is the last black hole of the game. He now has an Aeon disc ready to be disassembled. Of course, Dire team, they're pretty far behind. Look at this. He's ready to respond to this. They're actually on a ward, but once again, you want to be as far away as possible. Be as patient as you can. Go in for the blink black hole when you can. You don't need to do some fancy blink stun like some random hero. Just be patient for the blink black hole. A good black hole will come to you if you're playing properly. You buy the right items. You play the map properly with the eidolons. Try to adjust your item builds here and there. And then, with that said, Enigma, the wins, they should kind of come to you. And yeah, now what you do, you deny one of your own creeps as late as possible without them getting experience. So I don't always like to deny my range creep. It's a bit of a feeling thing. It doesn't make the biggest difference. But what I like to do is deny late as possible. And now what you want to do is you want to keep your eidolons as safe as you can so that they don't die to spells. I mean, it's hard in this lane. And then you want your eidolons to just hit creeps. Because when they hit 6 times, they multiply. And when they multiply, that is really your time to shine in the laning stage, where you can then look to play aggressive. So now, the reason you want to deny as late as possible is so that you have the eidolons throughout your first wave and a little bit of the second wave as well, which is what you can see here. Now that they split, you're very strong. You can trade, you can deny creeps. And now, basically, when your black hole is down, what this build allows you to do, it still allows you to be very aggressive and fight around your team, because you make your team more tanky, you give them more damage, you have the Wraith Pact Totem to deal more damage, make you more tanky, you have the maxed out stun, so you're still very strong. Whereas if you go the Blink Dagger Rush build, you're basically just a Blink Stun and a Black Hole. This is how you want to execute the team fights. You want to play on high range to stay away from the enemies so they don't spot you. And then you go in with the Blink, Midnight Pulse, Black Hole to catch the enemy people, and basically that's how you play. You can join your team. Just make sure that you're in a safe position. You want to be the last person spotted, okay? You want to be the last person seen, and you are the most valuable hero in like every team fight once you have these items on Enigma. So now, because he hasn't shown himself, I'm gonna give you Dire perspective. They saw him for like 0.1 seconds here because of him, but look, they don't know here. They're all stacked together. He waits, he BKBs before he blinks in, and he catches all of them. This is the type of situation where I think you don't need to cast Midnight Pulse because it's about a Puck who's about to John soon or like blink. But ideally, you should always look to try to go for the pulse, but if it feels weird, just go for Black Hole. So he's patient, he gets off a very nice Black Hole, and this is just the patience you want to have. With all of that, I hope that this guide can help you out. Once again, thank you, and shout out to Bitburger for making this content possible, you know, helping me and supporting me to make it so that you guys can learn. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Leave your feedback down below, and see you next time.